Hello everyone, it's Nick with Nick and Topics, and here's some harsh truths, just some advice that I learned pretty early on that I think you might find interesting. Now, one pose question for everybody that's watching the series. You might ask yourself like, where the fuck is Nick right now? I kind of changed the seed because everybody was saying that the Gargamel seed is pretty cool on Reddit, so I thought it was like, why not check it out while I'm here? Now, this is some stuff that I personally have learned throughout my years. I started learning about, self-help and stuff back when I was like 13. So I had to accept these truths as quick as possible and adapt to them so I can live my life a little bit better. And I think they are going to help you immensely, right? So I thought playing some Minecraft while talking to you guys in the background as we do standardly. Just this time we're going to speed it up a little bit because I want to find more diamonds. That's kind of why on purpose. There's a chicken. Hello. So before we start anything, right, any sort of advice I want to give you, I want to give you this amazing quote I found by Nietzsche. This is like a long time ago quote, but please listen to this. I know of no better life purpose than to perish in attempting the impossible. Just because something seems impossible isn't the reason you should pursue it. That is the reason to pursue it. Where would the courage and greatness be if success was certain and risk didn't exist? Your only failure is shrinking away from life's challenges. Now, what does that quote mean? It means that the only cowardice that actually exists is one that we pose on ourselves, right? When life offers us something that we have to complete and we tell it no in fear of retaliation, that's when we, only face true cowardice. Now you might ask yourself, like, but yeah, I always do my stuff. I'm that guy, I'm that person. But the truth is, most of us aren't. Most of us are actually cowards. And even though like I've been doing self-help for years, right? This helped me tremendously, but I still find myself being a coward sometimes. Now you might say like, what does actually cowardice mean in this situation? It means postponing something that you have to do, which is gonna help you. Like for example, if me like as a student. In some senses, I'm still a coward. I'm still fixing my procrastination problems when it comes to school. It's very hard for me to focus on learning something that is, as a spoke about before in one of my previous videos, to learn something that I don't like. So in that case, like, I would be labeled as a coward. So everybody's a coward in their own way because we don't want to face some stuff that we have to do. And people kind of call it procrastination to just kind of be like, oh yeah, it's only procrastination, it's nothing bad. But I would call it cowardice, right? Because you're hiding from something that you have to finish, right? It's something that you have to do, yet you just don't want to do it. And that stems from one thing. Now, if you kind of look at how our brain functions, it's more of like it functions based on experiences, right? I'm not gonna go all psychology mode because that's something that probably doesn't interest you, but to kind of sum it up, your brain goes based off experiences. If you have good experiences, like for example when you play a game, you're gonna play it over and over again because it gave your brain initial good responses. We are type of I'm gonna call us animals, just kind of simplify it, that go based off of first perspective. That's when you see somebody who's not well dressed, who's not well groomed, you go like, oh god, look at this guy. And even if next time he comes well groomed, and everything, you're still gonna see him as that one ugly guy because that's what we seen them in our first contact with them. That's just how it works. That's just how we work as people. And I'm not saying that's a good, that's not a good thing. Like when you realize that you're doing that, it's going to be a lot easier to, not to do that. But the truth is, we will still be doing that no matter what. Like you have to, respect people in some way to be respected. That's kind of like the golden rule of everything, right? To respect people and treat people how you want to be treated. But the reason we don't see it much is because people don't want to be aware that they're not treating other people with respect, because we all have some sort of narcissistic demeanor. I'm not like a golden goose that I see that every time. Even sometimes I catch myself lacking, right? Now, I'm not nobody's perfect, that's just impossible. Perfection is something that you should strive to, but consciously know that it's impossible to reach. I'll delve into that later on, why that's a good thing and not a bad thing, as many people, especially teachers, tell kids. So let's continue. Now that I offered you a bit of a background and some stuff to get you started, let's delve into the actual first advice that I want to tell you. Number one, is that nobody around you really cares about you, except maybe your family if you have good family relations. And now that might seem really counterintuitive because you say, oh, well, I have a best friend that cares for me, right? Yeah, but do they like really? Because, and it's not a bad thing to question yourself. I don't doubt that your best friend cares about you as a person, but they also have a life. They can't dedicate their life to caring about you, right? They still want to have their own sensory experiences. They still want to have stories to tell when they grow up. They still want to have their own life apart from you. We are humans, right? So having other people have to care about you is a really, really selfish thing. The only person, other people should care about is themselves, as you are caring about yourself currently. And people struggle with it. For example, some people have like different sorts of anxieties, right? They don't want to speak to people, they stay away from crowds. But the thing is, nobody really remembers what you say, right? You can test it out. You can say a bad joke and ask somebody, tomorrow if they remember that joke. No, they didn't. Because our brains only store information that is truly valuable to it. We have been laughing. The perfect example, ladies and gentlemen. I had told my father a joke yesterday and we laughed a bit about it, right? No matter how strained our relationship is, I still try to hold it a bit, right? But we laughed about it, and today I wanted to tell the same joke to my grandma, but I just couldn't think of what I said. Right? That couldn't come to my mind at all. Now imagine somebody who's not even connected with, who's not your family, who doesn't care about what you say, and now you sit there and think like, oh my god, what if they think this about me? They think this about me, but the truth is they can't. They don't. Right? And you limit yourself and like your potential just based on something that you think yourself. You are giving yourself barriers. Nobody's sitting out there, and saying, oh, he's bad, he sucks. You give that to them. You are treating others unfairly by treating yourself poorly. You're unconsciously attaching these things to them. Right? Like, oh, they definitely think this of me, but you don't know. They never told you that, right? You're just attaching those type of things to them for no reason whatsoever. And I think that's a very dangerous and a slippery road and rope to be on, especially if you're gonna continue this way. By the way, this seed looks beautiful. Like, I just want to appreciate the scenery that I was spawned in. I was spawned in that way, yeah. That little cave, so it was pitch dark, so I didn't really see anything. But this looks crazy good though. Oh, it's night, so we might kind of have to do something there real quick. Number 2 of the harsh advice that I want to give everybody is that you have to accept one fact, and that fact is that you aren't the best self right now. Like, you legit aren't. You can lie to yourself and say, yeah, I am, I'm the most perfect human being that can exist, right? You can be narcissistic, I don't really care. But the thing is, the sooner we accept the fact we aren't, the sooner we can actually work on becoming the best version of ourselves. Now, people say like, oh, it's easy to become the best version of yourself. You have to go to the gym, you have to work, but best version of yourself is the only version of yourself that actually is at peace of what you are right now. Let me ask you this question, and I'm gonna, phrase it very quickly. What would you think about your life if you died tomorrow? Have you done what you wanted to do? Probably not. Like, not even I. That's a question that got me to work initially. It's like, holy shit, like, I haven't done what I wanted to do with my life and I'm supposed to die tomorrow. Like, that wouldn't be an easy thought, right? That wouldn't be an easy thought, like, at all. I'm not leaving my family with anything. I'm not leaving nobody with anything, right? Like, that's it. That's the only thing that you really need to motivate yourself. You haven't left anyone with anything. And yet you're saying that you have, done a lot with your life. You haven't. You only started, right? You only started. That's kind of where we run into some ego issues, but that's completely normal, right? That's going to tie immediately into my third piece of advice, right? Your dreams are the results of your habits, right? And the only way you're going to create good habits is if you destroy that little ego part of yourself. Now you might be asking yourself, like, what the hell is this ego part of myself, right? People throw this around. Nobody wants to explain to me what the hell is ego, right? Ego is basically how you see yourself, right? Now, some of you may say that I don't see myself as the best version of myself. I may not see myself, very well. And if you don't, That's pretty good because that means you don't have a really high ego, which again means that you are gonna have an easier time, right, working on yourself than other people. Because a lot of people think of themselves, everybody has some sort of complex, right? They think of themselves as, quietly better than other people. If you wanna win somebody over, right? This is actually from psychology. Just ask them about themselves and keep, complimenting them in a non-direct way about their achievements, and they will love you forever. Because people love to build themselves up, especially in front of other people. So seeing somebody who is very humble, people are attracted to them because not because they're a punching bag, but because they can feel subconsciously, they're lying, right? Everybody's lying, but this person seems to be telling the truth, so they are more open to that person. That's what I'm saying. Blowing your ego for yourself is the best thing you can do because you're gonna stop lying to yourself. Right? I'm trying to do this in the most coherent way as possible because I'm just freestyling this off the top of my head based on years and years that I did, digging into all the stuff. So feel free, if there's any experts that ever watch this, feel free to correct me if I made a mistake anywhere. Like, I'm not a psychology expert. I'm just like, decently read on the topic. That's why I'm kind of discussing these things. Right? Now, as we said, dreams are results of your habits. Now, habit is something that you do or don't want to do. It's mostly don't want to do, but that's needed to be done to complete your outer goal. And don't worry, any goal that you have personally is worth doing. Don't look at people that go like, oh yeah, your goal sucks. This is not like, why would you want to be this? This is embarrassing. Don't pay a lot of attention, because a lot of people, when they see you attempting something that they don't have the balls to attempt to, they're gonna immediately start to dig into you specifically, right? Be like, oh yeah, well, I mean, this is really hard. There's already like a million types of those, done, and like, why should this be used? Everything you done, it's just gonna go to waste. And even if it does go to waste, it's important that you tried. As we said in the beginning of the video, let me tie this in. Nietzsche said, it's better to die attempting something that seems impossible than live a life of doing nothing. Right? I think that's how it works. Now let's do a little movie analogy and a Mount Everest analogy. When you watch a movie, right? Let's just, take a little pen and paper. This is something that you probably want to write down. Think of your life as a movie, right? And not in, funny, fucking corny way. I'm thinking it seriously. What happens in a movie? You see only a few shots of the character training, and then you see them win, right? But the thing is, nobody sees behind the scenes. And the same is with your life. Nobody cares what's behind the scenes. People only care what they see at the end result product. People won't remember you just because you said a bad joke in class. People will remember you based on what legacy you left afterwards. So is that legacy somebody who just sat all day and did nothing? The person who shared the best TikToks or Reels? Is that really the legacy you want to leave behind? Like, that's my genuine. Oh shit! No, we're not going up there. No. But is that really the legacy you want to leave? After yourself. Is it really? I'm asking a genuine question. Is that really it? Is this it? Is this what you're doing with your life? You can watch as many of my videos, maybe to help you wake up, help you motivate yourself. But the thing is, I can't do shit to you. Right? If you don't do it yourself, I can always say, hey, you're gonna do great, but if you just sit here watching these doing nothing, what are you gonna accomplish? You're gonna accomplish fuck all. So it's up to you to take the initiative, and don't see your dreams as a set of big problems, like how am I gonna get the money for this? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? It's about how can I start generating ideas to generate me income that's gonna help assist me in getting more steps down towards this bigger goal. Problem isn't something that you can just solve with one resolution. For example, with our main channel videos, we have a bunch of thumbnails, right? And a bunch of titles. And we test those titles and thumbnails in conjunction with one another, because we're solving an issue of what's the best clickable thumbnail, right? You don't just post one thumbnail and go, yeah, that's great. We have sets of others, right? We have sets of different resolutions that we made that might give us the outcome that's the best for our content, right? And you should apply that to your life. You give yourself different type of answers, right? Different types of outcomes, and you check which outcome makes you feel the best, gives you the best result. Now, achieving that outcome might be a bit more difficult, but look if it's worth it in the end. And don't just limit yourself by doing what everybody else does, right? This is gonna tie in my final advice for today, and it is by doing everything same as everybody else, I can guarantee that you are gonna get the same mediocre results as everybody else. Right? You're gonna get the same results as everybody else, and then you're gonna cry about it on the internet how you tried, but in fact you just copy pasted what somebody else done and just called it yours. The thing is, when you are exploring a new territory, you really have to indulge in something we call the beginner's creativity. Right? That's the only thing a master cannot get again. It's the beginner's creativity. A beginner who doesn't know how to solve a problem will try anything to solve that issue, right? So that's why people hire a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing in that specific area, just because they can think outside of the box more than people who mastered it. Right? And then they, have a kind of a protocol of how to, quote unquote, the best solve the issue. But then somebody who's kind of, outside that circle comes in and says, wait, actually, this is what if we tried this? And they go, haha, that wouldn't work. But then they try it and it works better than, master's result. It's because of that beginner's creativity. We can never replenish that. So while you're attempting this, try looking at more creative ways of how to solve your problems. For example, a problem for me is I cannot be, completely sincere with my audience on my main channel, because main channel was made to me to explore my creativity through likes of movies that we create on it, right? So I found the solution by creating this channel where I can give you guys concrete advice without any barriers, right? Trust me, people will sell you this advice for $2,099, right? And call it something groundbreaking, right? I wouldn't be surprised if somebody watched this and recycled the same shit I said and sold it. That's fair. You're a businessman. I get it, right? But here you can get it all for free. Right, I'm never gonna hide anything from you. Now let's delve into the Mount Everest analogy real quick. The Mount Everest analogy says if you want to beat Mount Everest, all you have to do is walk up the hill. But the thing is, when you say like walk up the hill, you're gonna be posed with a lot of questions. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? What if it gets freezing? How am I gonna get oxygen? So it poses a lot of problems. And you don't just go, okay, I'm gonna walk up Mount Everest and that's it. You can't do that. That's not the way to win. But the way to win is actually performing small little measures, right, safety measures to make sure you do get to the top of the hill. Now take this analogy however you want it, because that's freedom of creativity, but I think this can be applied almost anywhere. Okay, I'm gonna include one more little thing for you guys just because you stayed this far, and people will only go and root for you when you win, right? Isn't that something that we already tied in before? Do you remember when I was talking about the movie analogy? Do you remember that by any chance? If you do, then great. So, people will only say that you're best at something when you finally win at that something. And you might say that's unfair, but you know what? That's true and it's fair. Have you ever looked at your favorite superhero and went, yeah, they're great while they're training? No, you always went, oh my god, they're great when they kill that bad guy. It's because people root for people when they win. So don't get scared or intimidated when nobody roots for you while you're, doing something that you have to do to get better. That's just a natural response. But trust me, the outcome will always be worth more than any celebration somebody else can give you, any pat on the back that somebody else can give. So what I'm saying here is you have to root for yourself. Right? You have to accept yourself as you are right now, and you don't have to. You shouldn't celebrate yourself as you are now, but you should celebrate what you can become, and actually take initiative and take those small things. My best rule of thumb is if something takes less than 2 seconds. I do not know the exact name of this rule, so if somebody could help others by sharing the name of that rule. But it's like if it takes less than 2 minutes to complete, just go and do it. Right? It's that simple. Just go and complete that, whatever it takes. It's less than 2 minutes. And now you might say, yeah, that's stupidly simple. But the thing is, we avoid so much shit that's so easy to do just because we want the immediate pleasure of something. By the way, I want to... Sorry, I had to do that. I saw me falling and I had to immediately do that. Alright, how do I get out of this again? I actually forgot. Okay, I'll be back whenever I get out of this. I know that somebody's gonna quote me screaming. It's gonna be like 25 quotes, 2026 screams of pain. Punishment from God. Yeah, I hope they brought this little smile on your face. You gotta celebrate what you're gonna become. And whatever it is you actually want to become, I don't think it's bad at all, right? Because if that's what you want to do, then go ahead. Like, that's up to you. You're gonna wear the consequences. I want. That's why I never tear people down, whatever they want to become. I just say, hey, that's great. If that's what you want to be, then go ahead, right? Sometimes, people tend to tear others down for no reason. Right now, there's some stuff that might be controversial, be a controversial job. What I'm talking about, specific industries that I'm not gonna mention here. But is it iron? No, it's not. I'm tweaking. But those specific industries are frowned upon. But still, right? If somebody really wants to be in that industry, why should you stop them? Right? It's their life, not yours, no matter if they're family or not, right? You have all the right to stop communicating with them if that's how far you want to take this, but that's their life. If that's something that fulfills them, okay, right? I mean, in my eyes, I wouldn't be with somebody who does that, obviously, and I think that a lot of you wouldn't, but still, it's their life. If you have to understand it, if you can't accept it, you have to let go of it, and it's that simple, right? Oh my god, it's beautiful up here. Why is there clouds here? Can I live above the clouds? Let's live above the clouds. Yeah, I'm gonna live with the gods. Yo, this is crazy. Look at this generation. Holy. Wow. Wow, this is... Wow, I love this. Oh, this is insane. Holy moly. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you learned something new today. I've tried to make this video as filled as possible with information that might be useful for you. If you have any questions for me, have any ideas, and thank you so much for the support. My name was Nosy Nick, or Nick with Topics, however you want to call me, and I'll be out for today.